A ferocious storm engulfs the village, with rain pouring in torrents and howling winds uprooting trees. Lightning illuminates the terrified faces of villagers running for safety. The protagonist stands protectively in front, holding a weapon, while others prepare to fight or hide. The group faces their first challenge. A pack of wild creatures emerges from the underbrush. Character inspects strange carvings on the walls, while another tends to a wounded survivor. The enemies are cloaked figures with glowing eyes, wielding strange weapons. In a dimly lit room within the ruins, the group discovers an ancient, glowing map etched into a stone tablet. Their faces are streaked with sweat and determination. One character carries a water jug, sharing it sparingly. With the antagonist defeated, the storm dissipates completely. The fortress begins to crumble, and the group escapes just in time, standing together on a nearby cliff. The group confronts the traitor, their faces a mix of shock and anger, while the protagonist steps forward, demanding answers. A tranquil village surrounded by dense forests, with small wooden cottages and lanterns glowing softly. A young protagonist, describing their appearance, stands near the edge of the village, gazing at the dark clouds gathering in the distance. Villagers bustle in the background, unaware of the looming danger. The atmosphere is peaceful yet hints at an impending storm, with a soft wind rustling the trees and scattered leaves swirling around. A ferocious storm engulfs the village, with rain pouring in torrents and howling winds uprooting trees. The protagonist struggles to hold onto a makeshift shelter, their face determined and drenched. Lightning illuminates the terrified faces of villagers running for safety. A shadowy, ominous figure looms in the distance, barely visible through the storm. The village lies in ruins, with fallen trees, shattered roofs, and debris scattered everywhere. Survivors gather around a fire, their expressions a mix of despair and hope. The protagonist stands in the center, rallying the group with a determined speech. In the background, the storm clouds start to dissipate, revealing a faint glimmer of sunlight. A small group of survivors, led by the protagonist, walks through a misty forest. Each character has unique features. One carries a weapon, another holds a map, and a child clings to a stuffed toy. The forest is eerie, with twisted trees and shadows that seem to move. A faint path leads deeper into the unknown. The group faces their first challenge. A pack of wild creatures emerges from the underbrush. The protagonist stands protectively in front, holding a weapon, while others prepare to fight or hide. The creatures are wolf-like with glowing eyes and sharp fangs, their fur slick with rain. The scene is tense and action-packed. Deep in the forest, the survivors discover an ancient, overgrown ruin that serves as a temporary refuge. Ivy-covered stone walls surround the group as they set up camp. One character inspects strange carvings on the walls, while another tends to a wounded survivor. The setting feels both safe and mysterious, with moonlight streaming through the cracks. A mysterious stranger appears at the campfire, cloaked in shadows but exuding an air of wisdom and danger. They hold a glowing artifact and offer cryptic guidance. The group listens intently, with varying reactions, some suspicious, others curious. The firelight reflects off their faces, highlighting the tension in the air. The group treks through a narrow mountain pass, surrounded by towering peaks and treacherous cliffs. Snow begins to fall, and the wind howls, making the journey perilous. One character slips but is caught just in time by the protagonist. The scene captures the struggle and camaraderie of survival. A dramatic confrontation in a cavernous hideout where the survivors face a group of antagonists. The enemies are cloaked figures with glowing eyes, wielding strange weapons. The protagonist stands at the forefront, clashing with the leader. The cavern is dimly lit by torches, with shadows dancing across the walls. An epic battle on a stormy cliffside, with waves crashing against the rocks below. The protagonist and their allies face the shadowy antagonist from the storm's beginning, now fully revealed. Lightning flashes, illuminating the chaos as weapons clash and magic crackles in the air. The protagonist delivers a decisive blow as the storm finally begins to calm. The survivors stand together on a hill overlooking the sunrise. The village is visible in the distance, now being rebuilt. The protagonist, weary but triumphant, looks out with hope. Wildflowers bloom around them, and the sky is painted in warm hues of orange and pink, symbolizing a fresh start. Would you like these prompts to focus more on the characters, the environment, or the action? Let me know if you'd like further refinements. The protagonist is surrounded by the surviving villagers, who look to them with admiration and trust. They stand on a makeshift platform, addressing the crowd. Behind them, the remnants of the storm's destruction are visible, but so are signs of rebuilding. Children play in the background, and villagers carry supplies, determined to start anew. In a dimly lit room within the ruins, the group discovers an ancient, glowing map etched into a stone tablet. The protagonist runs their fingers over the markings while others gather around, their faces lit with awe and curiosity. Strange symbols and pathways hint at a hidden treasure or a secret destination. The survivors venture into a vast, unforgiving desert under a blazing sun. Their faces are streaked with sweat and determination. One character carries a water jug, sharing it sparingly. Sand dunes stretch endlessly, and mirages shimmer in the distance. A lone hawk circles overhead, adding to the desolate atmosphere. An unexpected oasis emerges in the desert, with crystal-clear water and lush palm trees. The group drinks and rests, their expressions of relief palpable. Birds flutter in the trees, and a gentle breeze ripples the water. In the background, the protagonist studies the map, sensing that the journey is far from over. A tense moment unfolds as one of the group members reveals their betrayal, holding the artifact stolen from the mysterious stranger. The scene is set in a rocky canyon under the moonlight. The group confronts the traitor, their faces a mix of shock and anger, while the protagonist steps forward, demanding answers. The group descends into a vast underground labyrinth, lit by flickering torches. The walls are covered in intricate carvings and glowing runes. They cautiously navigate the maze, with one character marking their path. Shadows move in the corners, hinting at unseen dangers lurking ahead. In the heart of the labyrinth, the group encounters a massive, ancient creature guarding a glowing relic. The creature is part stone and part flesh, with glowing eyes and an aura of menace. The protagonist stands defiantly, weapon in hand, as the group prepares for a fierce battle in the cavern. After the battle, the group finds an ally they thought was lost, tattered but alive, in a hidden chamber. The reunion is emotional, with tears and embraces. The chamber is filled with ancient treasures and artifacts, lit by a magical, golden glow. The atmosphere shifts from relief to determination as the ally reveals vital information. High atop a snowy peak, the group arrives at a fortress carved into the mountain. It is an imposing structure with tall spires, guarded by mysterious figures clad in shimmering armor. Pix, the protagonist, leads the group forward, their breath visible in the cold air, as the fortress gates creak open ominously. In a grand hall within the fortress, the group uncovers the truth behind the storm, a powerful artifact that controls the weather, hidden in plain sight. The antagonist, now fully revealed, stands at the center, flanked by loyal followers. The protagonist's expression is one of shock and resolve as they prepare for the ultimate showdown. The final battle erupts within the fortress, with magic and weapons clashing in an explosion of light and sound. The antagonist wields the storm's power, summoning lightning and wind, while the protagonist counters with the glowing relic. Allies fight alongside, each showcasing their unique skills in a desperate bid for victory. With the antagonist defeated, the storm dissipates completely. The fortress begins to crumble, and the group escapes just in time, standing together on a nearby cliff. The sky is clear, and the sun shines brightly for the first time since the storm began. The group looks out at the world, knowing they have changed its fate. The story concludes with the rebuilt village bustling with life. The protagonist sits with a child, telling them the tale of their journey, while other survivors work together, laughing and smiling. The storm's artifact, now dormant, rests in a secure place as a reminder of the hardships overcome. Flowers bloom, and the sky is endlessly blue, symbolizing a bright future. If you need additional scenes or further refinements, feel free to share. The protagonist and their core group meet with leaders from nearby villages in a grand tent surrounded by flags of different colors. The council debates the next steps for rebuilding the region and protecting it from future dangers. Each leader has a distinctive style: one wears regal robes, another armor, and another carries tribal symbols. The protagonist stands tall in the center, mediating the discussion. Survivors prepare for future threats in a newly built training ground on the outskirts of the village. The protagonist oversees the training, sparring with a determined young villager. Others practice archery, sword fighting, and strategy on a large map. The backdrop includes freshly constructed watchtowers and banners fluttering in the wind. The village celebrates its recovery with a festival under the stars. Colorful lanterns hang between trees, and tables are laden with food. Children laugh and play, while adults share stories and music. The protagonist sits with their closest allies, a rare smile on their face as they reflect on the journey. The glowing artifact is subtly displayed on a pedestal, symbolizing hope. Far from the village, in a dark, barren landscape, the remnants of the antagonist's forces gather. Shadowy figures with glowing eyes stand in formation, while a cloaked figure addresses them. In the distance, a massive storm brews once more, its dark clouds crackling with energy. The scene is ominous and foreboding. During a dangerous mission to secure a vital artifact, the group faces overwhelming odds. The mentor, an older and wise member of the group, makes a heroic sacrifice, holding off enemies to ensure the others escape. The scene is heart-wrenching, with the mentor's determined face illuminated by the glow of the artifact as the protagonist looks back in anguish. Following the mentor's loss, the group discovers a hidden sanctuary deep in a canyon, surrounded by waterfalls and lush greenery. The sanctuary is filled with ancient relics and murals depicting a history tied to the storm's artifacts. The protagonist contemplates one mural, their reflection visible in a nearby pool, symbolizing their inner turmoil and growth. A rare moment of calm as the group rests in the sanctuary. Characters share their backstories and dreams around a small campfire. One ally reveals a secret connection to the artifact, while another shows a talent for crafting weapons. The protagonist listens intently, their bond with the group deepening under the starry sky. The group is ambushed while leaving the sanctuary. Shadowy attackers leap from the cliffs above, and chaos ensues. The protagonist fights valiantly, their weapon glowing as they deflect blows. The group struggles to protect the artifact, with one member narrowly escaping danger. Dust and debris fill the air, adding to the intensity. The protagonist stands on a hill overlooking the village, the storm clouds in the distance growing larger and darker. Lightning flashes, and thunder rumbles ominously. Their closest ally joins them, sharing a moment of determination and resolve. The scene captures the calm before the ultimate confrontation. The protagonist addresses a gathered army of villagers, allies from other regions, and trained warriors. They stand on an elevated platform, their voice carrying across the crowd. The army is a mix of determined individuals, from hardened soldiers to young recruits. Banners wave in the wind, and the atmosphere is charged with anticipation. The storm rages as the protagonist's forces lay siege to the antagonist's mountain stronghold. Lightning illuminates the battlefield, where warriors clash amidst the rain and mud. The protagonist leads the charge, their weapon glowing brightly, cutting through the chaos. The antagonist's forces use strange, storm-powered devices, adding to the intensity. As the final battle reaches its peak, the antagonist's stronghold begins to collapse. The protagonist and their allies race through crumbling halls, dodging falling debris and flashes of energy. The antagonist confronts them one last time in a dramatic, glowing chamber filled with storm energy. The protagonist stands defiant, ready for the final blow. With the antagonist defeated, the storm dissipates, and the sky clears, revealing a radiant sunset. The stronghold crumbles into the earth, and the protagonist emerges victorious, surrounded by their allies. They hold the glowing artifact aloft as a symbol of their triumph, its power finally subdued. The protagonist and their group work alongside villagers to rebuild homes, plant crops, and create defenses. Children laugh as they help with small tasks, while older survivors share plans for the future. The protagonist is at the center, leading with wisdom and hope. The scene radiates a sense of unity and renewal.